Good evening. I'm Jim Axelrod. We begin at the Vatican tonight, where a two-week meeting of 200 bishops has revealed a deep split over the direction Pope Francis wants to take the church. The assembly had considered language in a document to be issued at the conclusion of the meeting that would welcome gays as well as Catholics who had been divorced and remarried and wanted to be able to take communion again. Conservative bishops vowed to fight this, saying it undermined the traditional family. In Rome, Alan Pizzi tells us how this all turned out.
The Pope came out smiling, but the final vote on the Synod's deliberations showed deep divisions. A draft document at the halfway point of the two-week gathering included an unprecedented acceptance of gays. The final version was watered down to people with homosexual tendencies must be welcomed with respect and delicacy. But even that failed to get the required two-thirds majority vote. Two paragraphs dealing with divorce suffered the same fate. The gap between the Synod bishops and the reality they are trying to deal with was evident within walking distance of the Vatican walls. Even as they debated today, the mayor of Rome was registering and giving his blessing to the marriages of 16 gay couples. Pope Francis had urged the bishops to speak openly and freely. And in his address at the end of the Synod, he warned against what he called temptations. Spokesman Father Thomas Rosica quoted this one.
The temptation to a hostile rigidity, which forces us to lock ourselves into the letter of the law and not allow for God to surprise us. This temptation is present among the zealous, the scrupulous, those who are too careful, and the so-called traditionalists of today, and even among those who claim to be intellectuals.
Vatican officials were at pains to stress that the 62-item report is a work in progress. At Francis' insistence, the entire document, including the disputed paragraphs and the voting tally, was handed out to journalists, an unusual exercise in transparency by Vatican standards. The final document won't be ready until October 2015. There seems little doubt it won't please everyone in the church. Not least because, perhaps for the first time, the Synod was held in what one cardinal called a positive and provocative atmosphere, an atmosphere created, if not imposed, by Pope Francis. Jim?
Alan Pizzi reporting for us tonight from Rome. Thank you, Alan.